Startling story out of the Cleveland area. Almost 30 children were reported missing over a 2-week span at the start of May. And for more on what's happening there in Northeast Ohio with this story, we're going to be joined right now by Newburgh, Ohio Police Chief and President of the nonprofit called Cleveland Missing, and that's John Majoy, and he joins us now.
That leads to trafficking, that leads to a whole variety of other issues. Oftentimes it's not the trafficking that you see in the movies. It's simply they're engaging in activity just so they can have a roof over their head and food to eat. And there's no shortage of people to take advantage of these kids when they're out there.
Has recently caught our attention that one state is seeing an alarming number of missing kids. The Ohio Attorney General's office says more than 1,000 kids, 1,000 have been reported missing so far this year, with a large number of those disappearances centered around the Cleveland area.
What's good, YouTube? Welcome to Visible Truth Media, and this is your host, Dirty God. Today we have a real head scratcher on some weird, funny stuff that's going on in Ohio. Now, not a lot of people are talking about this. Maybe you heard it, maybe you didn't, but it was sent to me, so we're gonna record a story to it. More than 1,000 kids have been reported missing in Ohio in 2023. If you do the math, out of 365 days, that's 2 to 3 kids a day that's going missing in Ohio. Now, kids go missing all the time. A lot of them are runaways. A lot of them, you got baby mother, baby father situations, and those kids get reported missing if the father or the mother take the child without the other parent's permission. But for this is not the case, and I think we should dive into it and see why is this such a head scratcher. Not only is it a head scratcher, but this isn't a new situation where people aren't being arrested for child sex rings that are going on in the nation. I got proof for that. And did you guys know about this website called Wayfair? This website has been looked at by people in the country as well for where you can just go and buy a child. Now, I'm not saying that this website, this is what they do, but this is what's been said about them. We're gonna jump straight into it. I'm not gonna waste too much more of your time, but before we do, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. Where are these children? Let's get it. According to the Ohio Attorney General's office, more than 1,000 kids have been reported missing in Ohio in 2023 alone, many of them from the Cleveland area. In September alone, 160 children have been reported missing. Officials in Ohio called the numbers alarming. In just 2 weeks in May, 30 children went missing. Though it is stated, some of these children are runaways like we stated before. If you don't watch the news or nothing like that, you're not really going to hear about it. Or if you're not really connected, it's not going to come across your timeline about what's going on in Cleveland. But in Cleveland, they on the news and everything talking about this situation. They have this man named John Majoy. He's the president of the board of directors for Cleveland. He said that there were no reports of serial abductions or children simply vanishing. Some of the high numbers, he said, is because habitual runaways can generate multiple reports. So he is stating you can have one juvenile run away 8 or 10 times, and that's going to show 8 or 10 reports, he said. Some juvenile intake facilities are not allowed to detain children who don't wish to be there, Majoy said, but may file reports when the kids leave. Cleveland Police Chief Rain Drummond said of the missing children, still the chief acknowledged missing cases in the Cleveland area were up about 20% so far this year. They are ranked 5th in human trafficking, which is actually pretty high for a state that's not as densely populated. Okay, so that's not from me. You can actually go and look this up and see. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna put something here so you guys can see where they are. So this human trafficking thing is like, it's a real thing. This is a real thing that's going on. Nobody's really paying attention to it. Well, not a lot of people. Like, I'm sitting here looking like if you were a celebrity or something like that, this is something that you should be talking about all the time, if you asking me. On a side note, this kind of raises a question about what do you guys think, for the children that aren't considered runaways, if the missing persons percentage is up by 20%, what do you think they're doing to these missing people? I mean, I could tell you what I think about it, but then you're gonna look at me like I'm crazy for my personal opinion, but that's probably what I'm gonna leave in the air for you guys to put into the comments. Why are children, even adults, going missing in this day and time, and nobody really knows what happened to them? But back to the story. States with similar populations to Ohio, like Georgia and North Carolina, have had an average of 600 missing child reports last year. In comparison, Ohio roughly had about 1,600 reports in 2022. Ohio's Attorney General told a local news station that while the numbers are alarming, inconsistencies in reporting could play a role. Majoy said while there is no evidence indicating human trafficking rings are working in Ohio and runaways are still vulnerable, he stated that these young kids are immature and they really don't see the predators that are coming for them. They could be subject to a drug trade, gang activity, sexual activity, and human trafficking. I gotta keep asking that question, like, what do you guys think are happening to children that go missing and adults that go missing in America and the police department? Like, it's not a main issue. I mean, it could be a main issue, but it doesn't seem like it's a main issue to me. I don't want to jump into, I think I heard something about a Disney child sex ring, but I don't want to be wrong about that situation, so we're gonna stay away from that. But we do have similar cases like this one right here.
More than a dozen men, including Disney employees, are facing jail time after they're caught in an undercover sex bust. Investigators in Florida say the men wanted to have sex with the underage boys and girls who they met on social media sites. One of the suspects is a teacher and several others work at Disney and/or Universal. The teacher faces 50 counts of possession of child porn.
In this story, yeah, this one right here, it's not new, but this is the type of situation that can happen when you got these missing children in Ohio, so we're gonna plug it in. Because if it happened here, I'm pretty sure something like this is happening now. And they can look and say that, you know, they investigating this shit, but how long are they gonna investigate it before they step in? If that makes sense.
Tonight, a multi-state sex sting bust. 76 people arrested and 34 of them right here in Georgia. Tonight, Natisha Lance tells us how the GBI was able to catch so many men accused of exploiting infants and children.
Vinny, you know, as a parent, I'm sure you understand this. It is so shocking and disturbing to hear the details of what these people are accused of. These are people who are working with some of our most vulnerable, with our children. What GBI is now saying is that this may just be the beginning of getting rid of this kind of child predator.
76 arrests across 8 states in 2 days. One by one, officers rounded them up as part of Operation South Impact 2, a sting operation to bring down people caught with and distributing child pornography. About a third of the arrest happened in Georgia. These are some of the 36 men arrested across the state.
So we got 34 men that were arrested in Georgia on an Operation Southern Impact 2. These people right here were a mixture of postal workers, pastors, disc jockeys, and youth directors were among of the 70 arrested. I'm sorry, I said 34, but it was 70. It was 70 people that were arrested. Some of the postal workers, pastors, and daycare administrators were arrested as a part of a massive multi-state child exploitation operation conducted across 8 southern states, including Georgia. And you heard us mention Georgia earlier. So in Georgia alone, 34 people were arrested and 13 children were rescued during the Operation Southern Impact 2, according to the GBI. Many of those arrests involved the possession and or distribution of child pornography. So these investigations go on under the table and not a lot of people really know about it. But what I'm saying is, how long is the investigation going to go before the proper people step in and rescue these so-called children and other people that were reported missing? And that was the Southern Impact 2. Okay, so there was a Southern Impact 1, and they have these operations. I'm not going to go too much into detail about how their operations go and what they do to bust these men and women that commit these heinous crimes, but one of their latest ones was the Operation Southern Impact 3. 17 children were recovered and 82 people were arrested in a child sex sting. And in these sex stings, in the third one, and all of them combined, you got people like police officers, firefighters, military, business owners. They all were among these 82 people in the Southern Impact 3 sting.
Tonight, the bombshell arrest in a human trafficking sting operation in Georgia. 64-year-old Stephen Hovanek is a senior official with the Department of Defense Education Activity. That's the military agency that runs schools around the world for children of servicemen. New video released by Coweta County Sheriff's Office shows Hovanek walking into a motel room with an undercover agent pretending to be a prostitute.
Steve, by the way. Hey, nice to meet you. How you doing?
Hovanik asks if the agent will do 30 minutes before she discusses payment. Hovanik presents cash to the agent, who sets the money on the table and excuses herself to go to the bathroom. Just moments later,
Sheriff's office, put your hands up. Hey, I'm not doing anything. Put your hands up. I'm not doing anything.
Hovanik now facing a pandering charge, just one of 26 people arrested during the two-night sting operation in connection to the alleged human trafficking ring.
So in that one, you had 17 children that were recovered in the operation, according to the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. And they literally stated it's not uncommon for us to find children in these homes of the people who are collecting and viewing child pornography, and it is not uncommon for them to be victims of that person. This operation began 4 months ago and accumulated in 3 days of investigative actions to include search warrant executions. Investigators in Georgia targeted those seeking out and distributing the most violent sexual abuse material involving infants and toddlers, according to the GBI news release. A total of 56 search warrants were executed and 41 knock and talks were conducted in Georgia during the operation of the Southern Impact 3. During the operation, 4 registered sex offenders were encountered and arrested in Georgia on the charges related to child pornography. One of the registered sex offenders arrested during the operation of the Southern Impact 3 was initially released by the GPI during a similar operation in 2015. The GBI stated that 972 digital media devices were seized as evidence, and illegal drugs and firearms were also found. So they know. You can't tell me you could sit down, you could be sitting in your house minding your business, and you see a commercial and then you go, man, I would really like that handbag, and then you go on your social media and this handbag pops up as an ad. You can't tell me that they don't know when some wicked shit is going on with these missing kids and adults. Okay, because it's adults that's missing too, but we just tied that in. This is a separate situation, but this is pretty much, to me, it's the same situation. Hopefully I didn't lose you guys, but I'm just saying we really had to dig deep in on it. So if you're asking me what's going on with these missing kids, I think it's something similar to this, and I don't think that I would be wrong by thinking that, if that makes sense. Now the shit gets deeper. I'm gonna add this clip to it right here, because this is a website that I was just told about, and it's a conspiracy. So I can't say that this website actually allows this, but I'm gonna just play the clip so you can see what it is. It's a website called Wayfair. You guys tell me about it. Leave it in the comments. Have you experienced some wicked shit on Wayfair? But yeah, here got a clip right here.
Let's talk about a conspiracy theory involving a furniture company. Have you seen this? The company in question is American. It's called Wayfair. As you can see, it sells furniture and home goods, but it's recently had to deny it's part of a child trafficking ring. All of this is originating from the QAnon community. We'll get into detail about what that is in a moment, but first of all, here's the theory. A lot of these storage cabinets on the Wayfair website have girls' names. A well-known QAnon activist noticed this and tweeted, "My spidey senses are tingling. What's with these storage cabinets? Extremely high prices, all listed with girls' names and identical units selling for different amounts." The suggestion being that actually this was about trafficking young girls.
The claims became increasingly outlandish, so it wasn't just about the cabinets anymore, it was about personalised pillows, which if you tried to put certain messages on them seemed to cost $10,000, and the suggestion was that high price was because a child would come with the pillow, and again it was part of this human trafficking ring. And then we also saw people suggesting that if you search some of the stock IDs, the numbers of the products on Yandex, which is a Russian search engine, actually images of women appeared, and that was again part of this human trafficking ring that was related to Wayfair. All of these claims are totally untrue, and Wayfair has come out to deny them.
Claims Samaya Mumin was reported missing last year, and there was a $13,000 cabinet named Samaya on Wayfair, but Samaya wasn't in the Ohio missing persons database. She actually made a video about all of this herself, where she explains she was never missing and that article has been removed.
Now, as I stated before, it's a conspiracy, so we're not gonna jump too much into detail about it. You know, you got some people out here saying that it was debunked, that, you know, it was just all like a little hoax, I guess, to, you know, bring traffic to the website. Stuff like this website ain't the only thing out there. You know, it's actual websites, you know, where you can actually go and talk in code and order a kid on a plate. I mean, it's kind of rough to say it like that, but yeah, this is what it is. So, you know, to tie it all in together, you know, these missing children in Ohio, in every state, I'm not even going to just go with Ohio, but in every state, needs to be talked about more. Do you think it needs to be talked about more? Are they harvesting organs, using children for sexual acts? Is this Disney thing real? I heard about it, but I mean, is it true? Do I need to look into it? You guys let me know. Are they taking something from us? Are the powers that be taking something from us? Look, I'm gonna give y'all a little sample about how I think they taking us and taking things from us. They're kidnapping us and taking things from us, but they could make it look like a missing persons report. That's some real conspiracy shit. I'm not trying to go into it, but yeah, something's wicked about this whole situation. You guys let me know how you feel about this situation, man. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, man, peace.